Hi, what you're about to see is ARIA, Practica Learning's AI-enabled practice coach. ARIA gives you a private, safe, on-demand environment in which to practice the conversations that really matter. Coaching conversations, tough client meetings, influencing skills. In this demo, you'll follow along as I step into a coaching conversation with ARIA, one of my direct reports. After the session, I'll receive personalized feedback on what I did well and what I could do to sharpen my approach. Let's get started. I begin by selecting the type of scenario that I would like to practice. I'm choosing providing SBI feedback. I can then review the context for the practice scenario, determine what my goal is, understand what feedback specifically I'm expected to provide, and I can review the skills that represent the coaching conversation rubric. I then select Begin, and I can choose between interacting with ARIA as a waveform or a character. I like the character. Here we go.
Hi, you wanted to check in?
Hi, Aria. Yes, I'd like to debrief that client meeting that we just stepped out of. I'm quite concerned about the way it went. You presented some clearly dated information, and I could see by the look on the client's face that they were quite confused. I'm worried about this, Aria. What's going on?
I get that you're concerned. Honestly, I felt a bit off about the data too, but I didn't want to rock the boat. It was just awkward in the moment.
So you need to know that the clients are thinking about pulling their business. So you thinking about yourself and rocking the boat has meant that we're about to lose a key account.
Wow, that's a lot to take in. I didn't realize it was that serious. I guess I should have spoken up more, but it just felt uncomfortable at the time.
Maybe you're right, sorry. I am overreacting. What is your perspective on what happened?
I mean, it was definitely a rough moment. I felt like I was just trying to present what I was given, but it clearly backfired. I wish I had trusted my instincts more.
Yeah, I mean, let's walk through the SBI model. The situation was you presented some information on screen that was dated 2 months ago. The clients in that moment looked at one another, leaned over and whispered, "Isn't that old data?" And then you moved on to the next slide without acknowledging what was going on in the room. The impact was obvious. They sat back in their chairs and continued to appear concerned. And they approached me after the meeting to discuss whether or not we could handle the business. I'm pretty concerned. I want to check in first to make sure that you understand the importance of this.
I get it, that sounds really frustrating. I honestly didn't realize how much it affected them until now. I should have addressed it right then and there instead of just moving on.
100% agree, and thank you for your awareness. I really appreciate that. Let's get into some follow-up steps. Starting with what do we want to do to save this business today, right now, after this session? What are your thoughts?
I think we need to reach out to the client ASAP and clarify the data. Maybe we can offer a follow-up meeting to address their concerns directly. It's crucial we show them we're on top of things.
I agree. Let's do that. And then we'll get into, preventing this from happening another time. I've got some ideas that I'll tell you.
Sounds good to me. I'm all ears for your ideas on prevention. I just want to make sure we don't end up in this situation again.
I think you're out of time. I'm certainly out of time. So let's leave it there.
All right, I get it. Thanks for the chat, and let's definitely follow up on this soon. I appreciate you taking the time.
Now that the conversation has ended, how helpful was your overall experience?
Very good.
I'll now generate a report of your performance. Please be patient, since I may take a minute or two to analyze our entire simulation to extract valuable insights. Click the button, View Insights, when it appears below, to see how you did. I look forward to seeing you in our next session.
Those questions at the end can be completely customized to the client need. So if you want to determine participant reaction or projected impact, you can set those questions up the way you want. Now, you may have noticed that I did do some things right in that conversation, but I also got some things pretty wrong, and I saw how ARIA reacted. Let's see if those show up in the Insights report. What you'll see on the Insights report is a summary of the flow of the conversation in the upper left. On the upper right, you see an R index. This is roughly a score out of 100 based on an algorithm. Below that, you can see the amount of time that I talked versus ARIA and how much downtime there was between. Underneath that, you can see a summary of the flow of the conversation that indicates where what I said was easy to understand, where it was a bit vague or cloudy, and if there were any places where it was quite obscure or muddled, those are highlighted as well. It looks like I was poor at the way I announced that clients were considering pulling their business. But I developed strength as the conversation went on, and by the time I was finishing up the conversation and agreeing to discuss prevention steps, what I was saying was quite clear and crisp. And now we get into the meat of the report. So you see each of the 5 steps in the rubric down the left-hand side and the related sub-skills along with ARIA's review or level that I did those skills at. It seems that ARIA thinks that I did most of the skills fairly well, but she has suggestions on pretty much all of them for things I could do differently or better. I also receive a summary of the types of questions that I asked so I can understand where I was asking closed versus open-ended questions. I have the option to print and download and save my report to my own device, which I will do in this case so that I can save it and send to you. Thank you very much for joining me for this demo, and I look forward to a future conversation or demonstration with you.